Hey guys, welcome to this tutorial, the third in the RPG systems, the entity leveling section. In this one, we're going to actually be creating the base RPG entity class, and that will control all the related entity scripts and go into creating a simple EXP UI within Unity. So let's begin and we'll go create our base RPG entity class. So in our entities folder, we're going to create a new C# script and call this RPG entities or entity. Open this on up. Now, for right now, all we're going to have in here is our entity leveling related code, since we'll extend onto this in future videos. So we're going to create a private RPG entity level variable and just call this entity level. Since this is private and we're going to be setting it in our UI, we'll also want a sterilized field so it actually sterilizes correctly. And we'll create a relating property. Cool. And one other thing is we're going to create a private awake method. And in here, we're going to be checking if the entity level was assigned in the inspector. And if it was not, we're going to try getting it off of the same game object that this script is attached to. And if it's not there either, we're going to just debug a warning, say, hey, we don't have this attached. Please attach it. So if entity level equals null, we'll go entity level equals get component entity level. So this will get the entity level from the game object we're attached to. Then we'll also check if it's null again. And if it is, we'll just debug a warning. We just say something along the lines of no RPG entity level assigned to RPG entity. There's that. So also, if you know anything about the, well, just one side note here. Unity does have a attribute that you can add to classes called require component. We could specify to require this RPG entity level, but if we do that and add the RPG entity to a game object, we'll get an error because our entity level is an abstract class, and it'll try attaching an abstract class and it can't create an instance. So we're just going to do it this way for now. Well, we'll jump back into Unity and we'll go into creating our simple experience bar. So I'm not going to go into too much of actually how to set up a UI, but all UI requires a canvas and a event system, and all UI elements have to be under the canvas. So in our canvas, we'll be creating a new panel, and this will be our UI experience bar. This will be the base object. This object will determine the size of the experience bar. So up in the inspector, we'll change some of the values. I'm going to be making this scale across the bottom, but not scale vertically. So we'll do this left and right. I'm going to have a little bit of padding on the left and right by 10. I'm also going to jump down to the pivot before I change the position. Move the Y to 1, which will, let me jump over into the scene view, change it to 2D scale. So we have it in the screen view here. Changing the Y to 1 will change the pivot to the top. If we had Y to 0, it would be at the bottom. And the same thing goes for the X on the left and right. So I want the Y to top, so I just know exactly where it is. So this Y position, I'm going to go, let's say 40 up from the bottom, or 50 up, excuse me. And then I'll go, the height of it will be 40. So we get it across the bottom like here. Now, while staying in the other scene editor, I'm going to go into our experience bar. I'm going to create a new empty game object. This will be the experience bar area. This is where the section of the bar that changes will it'll use this game object as its side. This one I want to scale to the parent, and I'm gonna have a padding of 2 on the top, left, and right, and I'm just gonna leave the pivot in where it needs to be. I'm gonna add a panel to this area. Also, the reason I didn't make a panel for this area is because I don't want a specific image in this area. It's just going to be used for its size, nothing more. It's not going to be seen. If you wanted to add some art to this, you could. You could add a image element to it, but I'm not. So in this panel, I'm going to go experience bar fill. This is going to be what's going to fill the experience bar. I'm going to keep this to be stretched. Left, right, and top and right padding is going to be 0. So what we're actually going to do, let me change this color. We'll change some of these colors in a second. Actually, I'm just going to change all the colors now. I want this to look pretty. I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to have the background be like a black, and the fill be a like bluish sense. That's what I see for experience bars in games. But yeah, I have that. I'm going to change the area to increase this just a little bit more padding so I can see the border a little bit better. There we go. Oh yeah, I have this color. So how we're going to be changing it in script anyway in a second is we're going to be taking this right value and we're going to modify it. So if we take the width of our experience bar area and subtract that from the right, subtract that from the right, we'll be at, well, pretty much this value. Then we can add how much experience we have to that value to increase it. So it'll slowly increase like that. But we want to leave it at 0 on our actual prefab. So before I go into the script, I'm going to add one more object. Go into the UI and create a text object. I'm going to have this be parented to the text area, or the experience bar area. This will be the experience bar values. This text object will display like the current value and the required, and I'll probably have the level on it too, but you can change it to say whatever you want. For the rect transform scaling type, I'm going to have it scale to the parent, change the padding to be 0. Actually, I'm going to add extra padding so it's just inside of the area. It's a bit. And then we're going to change the alignment from left align to center and from top align to mid. We'll also use best fit so it scales this text within it into the same. I'll just go level values. Now, it's not showing up over here, so if you jump over to your hierarchy, you'll drag the level bar value below the fill. You don't want to parent it to the fill, but below it. This way it'll change the rendering order of the UI. And it's kind of dark, so I'm going to change the color to white so you can easily see it. So that's all we're going to do there. Let's jump over to our scripts. I'm going to create a new folder in our script folder. I'm just going to call this UI. I'll create a new C# script in there, and this will be UI experience bar. Now, before we open up this experience bar, I'm going to grab our UI experience bar game object and attach the script to it. In our RPGSystems, I'm going to create a new folder for prefabs and add a subfolder for UI. And I'm going to drag the UI experience bar game object into the UI folder of the prefabs. Now we have a prefab of this, and we can just drag it and drop it. And now we can change our script, and it'll just update automatically. So let's open up our UI experience bar script and just go down. First thing first, we're going to add the Unity engine namespace for UI. So unityengine.ui. And in here, we have 4 variables that we want to use. First off, we have the RPGEntity that this experience bar is attached to. So we'll just have entity here. We'll have public rec transform, and this will be the exp bar area. This will be how we determine the fill. And we'll also do rec transform, exp bar fill. This will let us modify the fill area. And finally, we'll have a public text object, and this will be exp bar values. This will be the text object. Now, later on, if your main entity may change through the game, actually later on in the series, we're going to have some additional code that will be called when we want to set whoever the main entity is in the scene, which may require us to come back to our scripts and modify it, but for now, we'll just leave it this way. So whichever entity we have attached to the script when the scene starts, we'll go entity.entityLevel on entity experience gain, and we're going to be listening with a method. So we're going to be updating our UI every time the entity's experience value changes. So we'll go void on exp gain object sender. That will be the experience entity level class, and the RPG experience gain arguments, and I'll just call this args. And we can use this in our awake to listen on to that event. Now inside the on experience gain event, we'll do all the updating for our class. So in here, we'll go, first off, we want to know the percent of the required experience that we currently have. So XP percent. And we're going to be clamping this between 0 and 1. So we can never go above 100% experience or below 0 experience. So mathf.clamp. And this value in here will be entity.entityLevel experience current divided by entity level dot exp current. So, and then we'll go restrict it, so 0 and 1f for the min and max values that we possibly have. If we ran this, our code will always return a 0 or 1 because our exp current and our exp acquired are integers, and once it does this divide, it will automatically chop off the extra. So to fix that, I'm going to typecast these to float. And then we should have the correct percent. Change the capitalization there real quick. The next step would be getting how much we're changing the offset, the right offset of the fill experience bar. So we'll go float, new right offset, equals. So first we want to subtract the width of the rec. We'll just go minus experience bar area. So this is how wide the experience bar can be. Get the rec of that and get the width. So that will first make it so it's at the 0 position. Next, we want to add the experience bar area dot rec dot width times exp percent. So this will just add it to this. So we'll get the correct position. Next, we want to actually assign this value to our fill so it actually updates. So to change the right offset, we don't use the rec from there. We actually use the offset max dot x. Well, not x, but we're assigning the x value. But you can't assign a vector to, like, you can't assign the dot x of a vector to. You actually have to assign it to a new vector 2. We'll do this. We'll do our new right offset. And then for the y value, we'll just go exp bar fill.offsetMax.y. So we'll just use the old value for the y. So if you toss this back onto our, or we could jump into the scene and assign our entity. This should all work correctly. But one more step. XP bar values. We're going to assign the text value now. So I'm going to do string.format. So we have this value slash this value and the level. So this will do 0 will be our current value, 1 will be our required value, and 2 will be our current level. So we'll just go entity into the level dot experience current, entity dot entity level dot experience required, and entity dot entity level dot level. And yeah, that's all we need for the assigning the text. This will just show those 3 values. You can change that to whatever you want to display on your screen. Now we can jump back into Unity, and we have that. So if we need to add a new entity to our scene. So to do that, let's create a empty game object. Let's call this RPGEntity, and add a RPGEntityScript and the default level script as well. And I'm just going to assign the default level to the entity script. And I can select the UI experience bar and assign the entity. Also, before we go any farther, let's assign the correct scripts to our UI experience bar's script. So while having the UI experience bar game object selected, we'll drag and drop the area to the area on the script and the fill to the fill and the text values object to the values object. And we can apply the changes to our prefab so we have those automatically set for later use. Now if we ran this, it does not work, first off, since A, the level does not change, or the experience does not change. So we can change this here. And how about we just, let's make an extra call. We'll go void update UI. Just go UI. That's simple enough. We'll copy paste these changes here, set them in here, and we'll call the update UI within the experience gain, and we'll go update UI in awake. That should fix our issues. Do that, and there we go. We have 0 out of 100 experience for level 0. Cool. Now let's make this move. Well, actually, I also noticed that our experience bar is kind of awkward. Let's see what's going on there. -28. That's strange. Well, let's do some value changing, and we'll see how that is. Let's jump into our simple experience test, test folder, and we're gonna do a experience test. So we'll go RPG entity level test, and in here we don't need the update. All this test is going to do, actually, it's not really even a test. All it's going to do is take a RPG entity, and every update will just go entity dot entity level dot modify experience, and we'll give it an extra 100 experience. So let's jump into Unity. Create another empty game object, and call this RPG entity level test. And toss the script on it. We'll also assign our entity to it. We run this, we get nothing. Ooh. Let's see, what is different here? I'm gonna run this and make sure we appear not to be gaining any experience. So we go to our, it's not in our UI bar. that appears to be working correctly. It would be in our, let's open up our entities, levels, and go entity level. And our modify current experience, that appears to be working. Check current experience, internal. Well, actually, we are missing something, I believe, from our check. Let me see. Oh, yes. We also have, well, besides the fact we're missing something in our check current. Let me see. What else do we have here? Okay, I'm going to cut the video here and figure out the problem. Okay, I found the issue that was causing some of our problems. If we open the entity level script, in the property for experience current, the setter, I accidentally was setting the required experience instead of the current experience. So if you took that and then you ran it, and oh yeah, I disabled test script. With the test script enabled, there you have it. Okay, now our level is gaining experience and it's correctly leveling up. Cool. So backing out of that. So in my test, I kind of went crazy here. I'm going to delete all of this because we don't need it. This was just checking, debugging a lot of the events. So here you go. So this was all we needed for the test. Just add experience to it and it will update. So before this video ends, let's jump back into our RPG entity because I realized I did not finish the code completely. Inside our check current EXP, we just call the internal check EXP. We actually want to call an event here also. So whenever we check our current EXP, we're going to take our old level from our current level, and then after we check the experience, because we can level multiple times here, we can level a ton if you get a ton of experience. So if old level does not equal level, and on entity level change does not equal null, we're going to go on entity level change this new level change arguments and go level and old level. So this will get the giant gap whenever we calculate our experience, just to see if how many, because we can possibly go several different levels. So that will fix what I was missing there. Everything else is correct. And I believe it all is here. Yes, I don't think I'm missing anything anymore. And this is all updated. So there you go. We have our simple UI experience bar with a test that will just add experience to it. Everything should be functioning correctly, and yeah. Future use, you got your prefab for your experience bar and all that. Before I go, I'm just going to add a new folder called the scenes. And inside scenes, I'll create another subfolder called test. And I'm going to save this current experience bar scene inside the test scene folder. I'm just going to call this experience bar test. So you can open this up for later reference. Cool. And that is that's going to be the end of this small subsection for the entity leveling scripts. You can find all this code on the GitHub repository linked in the below, or below in the description. And yeah, in the next couple of videos, I believe we're going to start working towards creating an item system for this, so we can actually make use of our stats that we created. Oh, and there may be one additional video before that. It's going to be probably small, where we go in to our entity class that we made and make it so our stats collection attached to the entity scales with our level. And we'll maybe make a small UI for our stats. Okay, until the next video, hope this was helpful, and I'll see you guys then.